is preparing. And you can see me pretty well, right?
Yep.
Okay.
And I'm good?
Yes. You look good. Ooh. Okay, hold on.
Nope.
Okay, I'm live now.
Yep, I see that.
Okay. Yes. So, okay. So let's just start talking since we're gonna give time for a few people to get on. Okay.
Okay.
So how was your day?
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Busy, but good.
That's good. I mean, not being like busy is good. Oh no, what happened?
Uh-oh.
Oh, let me see. I got it. Tell me if you see it again, okay? Oh, okay. You see it now.
Yes, you're good.
Did you go outside today?
Yes, I had a couple of appointments that I had to go to, so I went to those.
Nice. Can you show me your muscles? Oh yeah, you see, we're gonna have to show some muscles. Mm-hmm. We're definitely gonna have to do that.
No, we don't have to do.
I think it's pretty good. So let's see, 7:39. Let me see. Do you have people that are gonna be on?
I don't know. I sent it to a couple of people, but they said they weren't sure what they were doing.
Okay. Okay. Sometimes it's better if they'll watch it later, you know? They can always watch it later, which is not bad. How's your sister doing?
Good.
Good?
Yeah.
That's good.
I haven't talked to her lately. I know she's working from home.
Oh, that's awesome. What does she do again?
She works for insurance.
Oh. She gives people insurance?
I'm not
exactly sure.
I know she works for an insurance company. I'm not exactly sure what she does. I know she's on the phone. Sorry,
she
Danielle.
Is?
She's on the phone with, like, that's what she does for her job. Sorry, Danielle.
Okay. Okay, that's good. That's not bad. So, yeah, so remember, this is not, I feel like you are so nervous because of this, but sometimes it's good to like, one, it's me, you know me. It's not like a job interview, or it's not like, I don't know, somebody that you're talking to, somebody you've never met before, you never talked before.
Right. It's just, for me, it's just public speaking is more of something that I still need to get used to. No matter how many times I do it, makes me a little nervous.
Okay, let me give you an example of public speaking fear. Fear, like horrible. My last year of my master's degree, I had to do a project and I had to present it. And my class was 3 hours long. So that means, and we had about like 20 people in our class. So the what we had to do is basically on teaching, and just our project was just based on how we will teach the subject that we're teaching, which was math. And we had to pick a topic and how we started, how we go in the middle, how we ended, whatever. And because I have JoJo and also raising JoJo while going to school was not easy for me at all. So one of the things was that I was like, okay, let me get prepared. I write everything. I have note cards, but I'm literally like shaking too. Like even while I'm sitting down listening to everybody else, like the fact that it's getting closer to me, like every person that went, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's one less person. My hands start sweating. My armpits start sweating like crazy. Like, you don't understand. Like, maybe you do understand.
Oh, no, that's, yep.
Yep. So then, finally, I went up. It was my turn. And my fingers were like this, like shaking, and my voice started cracking. And I just started, and I was like, okay, let me take a breather, because I wanted to cry. Like, that's how bad, like, I felt like my body was so tensed up, so much anxiety of just going up and doing it, that I cry, like, not cry like that, but like, like it feels too much pressure. So I literally, hold on, did I walk out? And you see, that's how bad it was. I don't even remember if I walked out. And like the teacher was like, it's okay, just take your time. And then everybody's quiet, but they're looking at me, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, I just messed up so horrible the presentation. Two, I'm shaking, and I'm like writing, like I'm like this, like I'm doing this to my fingers and my note cards. And I'm like, I don't know, that was the worst, for real. I didn't like it. One was because, we always try to like compare ourselves to other people sometimes. And if people do such a great job, have you ever seen those people who do such a good job, and you're just like, oh my gosh, I wish I could do it like that, right? So I don't know, maybe it was that, maybe it was all the stress around it, I don't know, but it was horrible. I left there feeling like, yeah, that I will never do that again. I will never go back to public speaking. But
well, now you're doing it though.
Well, now I'm doing them, but it's different, and also because I'm learning about my body and how I respond to different situations. So one thing is like building that self-confidence, which actually has helped me to build myself more confident. Like, okay, I'm different. Okay, I speak different. I look different. I'll do things differently. It's okay if it's not perfect. Those things allow me to like calm down. But even till this day, I be all showered up, smelling good. I'll be wearing my my nice jacket to go and do a presentation or a meeting, whether it's 5 minutes or anything like that. I start sweating. My hands start sweating. Like everything. Just I'm like, why am I so nervous? Like, it's really bad. It's bad. So I don't know if yours is like that, but mine is like that bad. Go ahead. You want to share it? Look, I have this thing right here.
What is it? I can't see.
It's a little man.
Huh.
But it's very like plasticky.
Okay.
Not plastic, but it's like rubber. So like if I get nervous, I hold this on my hand.
Okay.
And I had another one, and I destroyed it already. Huh. It's this combowel, whatever the word is. So I be playing with this. I just go like this. If I get nervous, it kind of helps me not get so nervous. So
okay.
Okay. Yep. So it's 7:46. You want to start at 7:50?
Whatever you want to do.
I think we should. And if people miss it, then they can just come in into the meeting. Right? Because we're pretty early. Unless you want to share something that you did today before we start.
I really didn't do anything other than the appointments. So.
Okay. How was it like just going around? Do you always do you still take the bus to go to your appointments?
I have not taken the bus since March just because of COVID-19. I'm not really comfortable doing that.
Yeah.
So I have an aide that comes and helps me out 5 days a week.
Okay. That's good.
So I try to schedule my appointments and stuff around
around
when.
her schedule too. That's cool. Do you
Yep.
find it easier doing it like that or like taking the bus?
It depends on what it is, because with the bus also you have to schedule it and they pick you up at a certain time to get there and to leave.
Huh?
So then I'm kind of stuck in a certain time frame, and if the appointment goes longer or is shorter, I'm either waiting around for the bus or I have to hurry up.
Wow. Well, do your doctors usually know that though? Like if you have an
Yeah,
appointment at a
well,
certain time, they should take you at that time or
sometimes,
not?
but sometimes it's a specialist and they can't help it because they have so many appointments too. And things happen, so they can't always help it.
Okay. Okay. Well,
But I try to schedule it so that I would rather be waiting around for the bus than having to rush. So I try to schedule it so that I give myself extra time.
okay. That's good. It's better to be earlier than later.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Than later. Yeah. A is making so much noise right now. It's not even funny. Like he's like, you haven't even started yet.
Hi.
She says hi.
Hi.
He say hi. The deep voice, hi. Pretty cool that you guys like at least know each other.
I don't know how to take that out of it.
Yo no sé tampoco because that was tough to get in there. Even the guy was like, do you want me to help you bring it inside? I was like, no, it's okay. Because Jojo had to come out. We both were trying to carry it inside.
The blonde guy. Yeah. So let me
I'm having that conversation with you while you're on.
Okay.
look at this baby.
Corazón, ya. No,
Okay.
no más.
That's it. Okay.
It's recording. You're going to be on YouTube.
Oh.
It's already on YouTube.
What up, YouTube?
That's what happens. Yeah.
Boy.
Okay. Next time we won't be early. Next time we'll just be on time. Okay. So 10 minutes. You want to wait 10 minutes?
Like I said, up to you.
Yeah, let's wait. So then people can just come in. Right at 8, we'll do it. Okay.
Okay.
Wow, this looks crazy though. Okay, so you prefer, so there's a difference between, well, it depends on what it is that you're doing, that's why you prefer taking the bus or you like having an aide around.
Well, right now
Working
it's
with
more
you.
because of the COVID stuff that
No,
I'm not
right.
taking the bus.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Yeah.
But other than that, I'll just do what I need to do. Like if it's during the time that my aide is here,
Mm-hmm. Then
we'll
you,
usually do stuff and get stuff done.
okay. That's good. That's not bad. And happy to hear that you have an aide to be able to help you, because I know you went a while without that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you found one that's like good with you.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
I like my previous aide too, just the schedules didn't match up.
Yeah. But that's when you do.
Yes.
Okay. That's cool. That's not bad. And also, you are in your new apartment, like living, how many months is it now that you're living on your own?
Since February, so 6.
6 months. Awesome.
Yep.
And you're still here. A high five.
Thank you. There we go.
Yes.
I moved in just before all of this started, so that's been interesting.
Wow. That's a blessing in itself. Because imagine if you just would, like, something would have gone wrong and then you couldn't move like that.
Mm-hmm.
It would have made it a little bit more difficult because people would have been like, no, we don't want to touch your stuff. We don't want to do this. We don't want to do that, right?
Yeah, well, I had a lot of family helping me move too, so that was helpful.
That's a blessing. That's very helpful. So that's good. But how do you like it?
I like it so far.
So
I'm
far,
learning.
6 months in so far, you should say, I love it.
I do. I'm learning how to cook.
Okay. Because you had your mom cook for you all the time before, or you just was used to coming home to food and you did some cooking, but not so often?
A little bit of that, but also my apartment is set up different than my parents' house was, and I can maneuver around a little bit better.
Okay. So the way your parents' house was set up, it kind of prevented you from helping out a little bit more than.
Yeah, it was accessible, just not to the point where I could be fully independent.
Yeah.
And my apartment isn't completely that way either,
Yeah.
but it's more so.
Yeah. Because everything is one floor, right?
Yes.
That's awesome. That's cool. What do you like about it? What are the best assets?
Well, I use different appliances because one thing that I can't reach is the stove or the oven.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't figured out how to safely do that.
Mm.
But I have those little mini camping stoves,
Mm-hmm.
like stovetops. I have one of those that my parents got me.
Mm-hmm.
So I can put that on a table and I can cook that way. And then I also have like a convection, it's like you can make stir fries and stuff in it.
Okay.
And then I have an air fryer, so I use those a lot.
Well, that's not bad.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty good. I think you're very I think you're gonna this is the thing. I think even though you might think that you don't do much, I think that you do a lot for somebody who, has how do you say it?
Spina bifida.
You say it so nice, like Spanish, Como tú estás? You say spina bifida.
Yep. Spina bifida. Yep.
Okay, spina bifida. And being, just with your disability, I think that a lot of people really will start understanding not just you, but just in general, themselves and how much they complain about life, and what they can't do. And look, it's like looking at you, it's like, why can't I do it? So that's a good thing about that.
I mean, I have those days. I have those days too.
No, of course. We all have those days. You're a human being. You're supposed to. But what I'm saying is there's nothing that is stopping you from because of your mentally strong and you want to do something. So you go and do it. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter how long it's going to take you. It doesn't matter what it is that you have to do. You are doing it. And one of the biggest things is the workout, working out. And I want to share that part with everybody because I think that even some people who can walk and have the ability to do workouts, there's always an excuse of why they can't, and you have you yourself, is it from your waist down, right?
I have limited mobility in one of my legs, but it's not enough to stand or put any pressure on.
Yeah. But and that's the thing. So you have something that you was born, a disability that you was born with, but that doesn't stop you from even the picture I'm looking at right now. You have that kettlebell, just working out your arms and stuff like that, and that's cool. It's how can you do that, right? So many people will say, well, how can you do that? How do you do that?
I remember when I couldn't do that.
That's the part. Yes.
I remember when I couldn't.
But this is the thing. people will look at you right now in that picture like that, right? And that's all they know about you, but they don't know your journey. So just like a Nelly, he has a pack, he has all these muscles, but they don't know the journey that it took for him to get to where he's at right now. You know? I'm drinking my water so my voice doesn't crack. We have, okay,
2 minutes.
2 minutes. Yes. Hold on, let me just check something. I don't know why this is happening the way it is. Let me just see. YouTube. That's not how it goes. This is it. I send. Hi. Hi. This is cool. Okay. See? You can see everything right now. And we say hi to everybody and all the viewers, starting in 1 minute. Or I can just start introducing. 1 minute. Un minuto. En un minuto. Vamos a empezar. If I start speaking Spanish, would you understand me?
I could probably pick out some words and figure it out that way. That's typically what I do. Is I can, because Spanish was one of the language I took in middle school and some of high school. So I can pick out some words and put it together that way, but there's no way I'm going to figure out the entire thing.
Okay, what is your favorite word to say?
I don't really have a favorite.
You need to have a favorite, girl. My favorite is, well, when I was learning English was I'm hungry. And I think
Okay.
I think it still is I'm hungry. So
Okay.
if I look at A and I say I'm hungry.
Again?
He says again. Yeah. Okay, so it's 8 o'clock. Okay, so welcome everybody. Here today, my guest is Heather. I've known Heather for how long, Heather? About
4 years?
3 years.
3 years?
Yeah, 3 years. And the only reason I know her is because we both work for the same job and in different departments. She works in childcare and I work as a wellness coach. And of course, every time I was working and she was out of work, she will come and she will be working out. So I'll be the person that will be like, Heather, do you need any help? Heather, do you want, help with this machine? Or if you need anything, let me know. And that was just a big.
And you would either spot me or time me.
Yes, I will stop. Yes, I will. What is that called? Spot you.
Spot
me. Yeah, I will spot you. Or you will be like, Rosa, can you time me to see how long I can do? What was it that you wanted to know about?
It was one of the exercises that Aid taught me. It was just holding up one of the weights to see how long I could hold it up.
Was it like this?
It was like one like in front of me.
Oh, yes, a kettlebell. So like you hold it like this.
It was either a kettlebell or a dumbbell. Yep.
A dumbbell, yep. And then you hold it, and then what was the longest you did? Because I was always just like, Heather, don't give up. Don't give up.
You would always tell me I'm only at 1 minute and I would be at like 3 or 4 minutes.
Yes. just to try to push
like
you a little bit.
You would always be like, you only have 1 minute down.
Uh-huh.
And I'd
yes.
and then we'd be done and it'd be like 3.5 minutes.
Oh yes. So that's how I know Heather, but I'm going, I wanted to have her here as my guest because one, I think she's very inspiring. And I think that she, Heather actually is like, she has her disability, spina bifida, right?
Spina bifida, yep.
Spina bifida. And that's a spina bifida. It's a birth defect in which a baby's spinal cord fails to develop properly. So that's what she was born with. So she has always had her disability, and from her waist down, she actually needs to be on a wheelchair. And the reason why I think that, like, I wanted to have her here is, one, because sometimes we complain about why we can't do certain things, even if we have like our arms, our feet, you know what I mean? But I think that what we all have in common is our mentality, okay? Because sometimes 70% of the time we are being negative with ourselves. So if we was to use that 70% to go into being more positive about ourselves and what it is that we can do, I think we could be more like Heather, because even though she, with her disability and she's in a wheelchair, that has not stopped her from doing sports, that has not stopped her from working out, and it's not stopping her to keep moving in a direction of independence. And I know that the last 6 months she actually moved, the past 6 months, right? You
Yep.
first started moving into your apartment.
Yes.
So you're becoming more independent, and not living with your parents. And I think that that just shows how mentally strong you also have to be able to make moves like that. And again, always do this, and I always like to bring guests in here. One, to learn from each other. Two, to self-educate, right? Because today, I mean, I'm learning about her disability, even though it's difficult for me to say it, spina bifida.
You are not the only one who can't say it. I've actually had doctors who ask me what it is when I start.
Oh my gosh, you had doctors
I've
asking
had
you what it
doctors
is?
ask me what it is, and that is
Wow.
actually a common occurrence with spina bifida.
Yeah. So, and that's the part that I'm like, okay, I know that a lot of my viewers could be young, it could be older, different ages, but it's something that we can learn from each other. And I have somebody who is going through that, as my guest, and we can learn something from Heather. If not, just keep trying to create a community of positivity, resilience, health and wellness, and just sharing our true self, right? Because if we're trying to be fake, if we're trying to act somebody that we're not, then might as well keep watching TV, right? Might as well keep watching those magazines that they have to crop you and make you so perfect and have curves and tabloids and all. It's just all of these things. And to us, I think that if you're very educated, you know that that's not the truth. So I'm always sharing our truth and our guest truth. So I thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
You are awesome, and I just want you to know that. And if you don't hear it, I know that you're inspiring me to me, and also to Aneldi, just because I'm like, wow, the first time I saw you, I was like, I was always trying to help you, but I could see that there was a resilience in you where you were like, okay, my wheelchair is not going to stop me from working out. And you came every single day to the gym after work, and you was working out, and sometimes you was there later than a lot of other people who showed up after you. So I like seeing that from you. But why don't you share with us a little bit about who you are, okay? At first, who is Heather?
My name is Heather. I grew up around here in Schenectady. A lot of everything that you just said is a big part of how I grew up. It was never, you can't do something. It was, okay, how do we do it? How do we figure out how to do it?
So your upbringing helped you to have this. Okay. Yeah.
Growing up, I was active. I was into sports. I did dance, I did tennis, skiing. I tried basketball for a little while. I tried wheelchair soccer for a little while. That didn't go very well. Dance, tennis, skiing, basketball. I like to swim.
Okay.
There was even with my disability, it is a developmental disability, but growing up I was in typical classes with some extra help for some things.
Okay.
When I was younger, it was like extra help for math or reading.
Which a lot of us need extra help with math and reading too. So that's pretty.
Yeah, that was until like first or second grade, and then I continued with physical therapy. I actually tried when I was a teenager. I started to try to get into weightlifting, but I was that typical teenager that didn't want to be active. I wanted to be sitting home and doing nothing. So my parents had to drag me to the gym. And they did. And I stuck with it for a while. But then I got into other sports. And then I stopped for a while. And I don't know.
So with what you said, so you play sports, you did dance, you did skiing, you did basketball, and you were just like also even with your spina bifida, right?
Yes.
Can you share a little bit of what it is to everybody that is watching us right now or that will watch this so that they can understand exactly what what's what your disability is?
Spina bifida is the most common permanently disabling birth defect in the United States. There are multiple different kinds. The three main ones are myelomeningocele, meningocele, and spina bifida occulta. The form that I have is myelomeningocele, which is the most severe form. When I was born, you could see the nerves in my spinal cord.
Yeah.
And that's common with that form.
Yep.
I had surgery to repair that and put the nerves back in my spine within 24 hours.
Okay. So as soon as you was born, you had to go into surgery.
Within the first few hours, yes.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
And then with spina bifida, there are multiple like secondary conditions because it is your central nervous system that's affected. So it's basically in some form affects your entire body. So at 2 weeks old, they found out that there was too much of a buildup of the cerebral spinal fluid, the water that protects your brain.
Okay.
It was building up and not draining like it was supposed to. So for you, the fluid in your brain drains through, in your skull, drains through your spinal cord and circulates through.
Okay.
But because of the fact that my spinal cord was not fully developed, that blockage meant that the fluid didn't have anywhere to go. So at 2 weeks old, and that condition is called hydrocephalus. they put in a tube called a shunt,
Okay.
that is connected to my stomach, to help drain the fluid.
Okay. Okay. Thank you for explaining that a little bit more. And I know that if people want to learn more about your, disability or just about the spinal bifida, they can go right there. You can see it on a screen to www.sbaneny.org. Do you know how to say it better?
We call it sbaneny.org,
Okay.
SBANENY.org.
Okay.
But one other thing that is important about spina bifida, it is a birth defect that occurs in the first 3 months of pregnancy, which is typically before any woman knows they're pregnant.
Yes. Yeah.
There is currently no cure, but they do know that folic acid can help prevent spina bifida and other neural tube defects by up to 70%. If you take 400 micrograms at least 6 months before you get pregnant.
Yeah. And I think that's even like a topic, like when I was pregnant with Jojo, I think that's why it's good to find out. One, as a woman, it's a good thing to know when your cycle is, right? And also, if you find out that you are pregnant, the sooner you find out, the better, because then you take the prenatal that you're supposed to be taking when you are pregnant. That's something that that I will know.
Right.
But it's also very important and to take our multivitamins, to take what it is that you need, because you have a whole other human being building in your stomach. You know what I mean? And I know that some people, even when it comes to health and wellness, people are like, oh, nothing's going to happen to me. Oh, nothing's going to happen to the baby. But the more you don't, yes. And you don't know that, and you don't want to take a chance that something can come out wrong. So for me, I was always like thankful and happy that my son, was healthy and was born healthy, and I was fine. But it just takes us into the part where you say, like if you take 400 micrograms of folic acid every day, as soon as you find out that you're pregnant, that will help you to avoid certain things to happen in the development of the fetus or the baby.
Yeah,
right?
It's also, and it's actually good to take it. It's recommended to take 6 months before you're planning on getting pregnant, because 50% of pregnancies are unplanned.
Wow.
So
now do you know, I may just ask this question because maybe some viewers might have a question about it. Do you know if it's a certain age that it happens more to, or no? It's just in general.
As far as age groups, no.
Yeah.
I know that it's recommended that any woman of childbearing age is recommended to take the 400 micrograms, which is in any multivitamin. It's also, you can get it through green leafy vegetables, which not everybody absorbs the same way, so they still recommend the
vitamin.
The vitamin.
Yeah.
But I know that it is more prevalent it's more prevalent in the Irish community and also the Hispanic community.
Okay.
Which I'm not sure if that is because of, I can't remember whether it was I think it was 1990 where the Food and Drug Administration decided to put in things like grains and cereals and breads. They decided to put folic acid directly into those foods.
Okay.
But I don't think that things like, I think this is more of a typical Hispanic food, like tortillas. I
Mm-hmm.
don't think that was one of them.
Yeah, because that's like masaca, like, you know. I don't know about that in particular. But what I do know and what you are saying is that even if you are not pregnant, you're not gonna try to become pregnant, it's very important for you to have the right vitamins in your body, you know, like calcium, multivitamin. Like for me, I take my multivitamin with iron. So
Mm,
even if I was to get pregnant again, I know that I'm taking my multivitamin before, you know what I mean?
mhm,
And also, like you said, it's very important for us to eat more vegetables and to eat more fruits, natural fruits, you know what I mean? So I thank you for saying that, because that's
mhm,
a lot of people don't understand the reason why should I take vitamins? Why should I eat more vegetables? Why should I eat more, fruits? And this is one of the reasons, you know what I mean?
mhm.
And you're like sharing that, and this is why we're like talking about health and wellness, and it's very important in general and overall. So
Mhm.
thank you for sharing that. um and then the other thing that I just wanted you, did you have anything else to say with that?
No, I think that's,
Okay.
I
No,
think,
and
unless you
so
have any
my,
other questions that come up.
yes. So can you tell us just like your daily, let's say schedule, but some obstacles that you have to go through with your disability, like being in a wheelchair?
Okay. Well, another thing about spina bifida, before I answer that question is not everyone, actually, spina bifida is known as the snowflake condition, because like snowflakes, no two are formed the same way. And
Mm-hmm.
with spina bifida, no two people are affected the same way.
Oh, wow.
I have friends with spina bifida who can walk,
Wow.
some with crutches, some unassisted at all, and just maybe have to walk slower because of balance.
Uh-huh.
Some who um, use a wheelchair like me,
Yep.
um, some that use braces, and it really depends. It depends on where the hole on your spine is.
Okay.
That depends the level of disability you have.
Okay. Thank you for sharing that. That's good to know and understand, because I didn't understand that. I knew that there was three types, and even going into it, like the folic acid.
Mhm,
But the fact that it can hit everybody differently, different stages, you can call it
mhm.
like that. And like you said, right, wherever the
It's called a lesion. Wherever the hole or the lesion is on your spine,
spine. Okay.
is where is the higher up it is, the more you're going to be impacted.
Okay. Got you.
Like mine is farther down, which is why it mostly impacts the lower half of my body.
Mm, okay. So now you have mobility of one of your legs, part of the one of your legs, right?
Partially, yes.
Partially.
For
Okay.
some sort of like exercise type purposes, but nothing that I can actually, like, I can't stand on it.
Okay. But you always have to be on your wheelchair.
Yes, I use the wheelchair.
Okay.
When I was younger, I did use braces that went up to my chest,
Mm-hmm.
to help me. Um, but just as everybody ages, things get harder, mobility gets harder.
Yep.
So I decided to use the function that I do have. Plus, at some point, standing got too painful
Mm,
for me. So I decided to go full time with the chair.
okay.
At that
Now,
time, I was only using it for exercise purposes, anyways.
mm, okay. Now, what is your daily obstacles that you will want to share with everybody to have you, for them to understand?
Well, I have a daily routine, like a morning routine, just like everybody else. Mine includes a couple of extra medical procedures, which for like some people take like a half an hour to an hour to get dressed and eat and do all the things they need to do to go to work or go to school.
Yeah.
Mine includes 2 hours of medical procedures on top of that, or like
Okay.
an hour and a half to 2 hours in the morning, and then I repeat it at night.
Okay. So if you had a doctor's appointment at 8 a.m., what time you will have to get up?
Well, that depends too on whether I am taking the bus, because the bus schedules you probably about half an hour before they want you to be there.
Okay.
So if I had an appointment at 8 a.m., typically I would get up at 4:30 or 5 o'clock.
Okay. 4:30, 5 o'clock. Wow.
If I had to be somewhere by 8 a.m.
Yeah. Okay. Now, so that was an obstacle that you just shared with us. So a lot of us, if people are taking longer to get ready, it's because they have to put makeup on and beautify ourselves way more than than normal.
I do all that too. It just takes me a little bit longer because I have the extra, and also getting in and out of the shower. It takes me a little bit longer just because I have to be more careful.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Okay. What about even like going into places like restaurants or just like, I know that the gym that you used to go to, I know that they had an elevator so they could bring you down and bring you up. But
yes.
What about other places that maybe don't have them?
Well, there's you have to, like, if I'm going out to eat or something, I have to make sure the restaurant or wherever I'm going to is accessible. I have to make sure that there is an accessible bathroom nearby, because one of the medical procedures that I do has to be done every 4 to 4.5 hours.
Yeah.
So if I don't have that, I can't
Then it's
do that.
tough. Yeah. Okay.
Which is not an option.
Now, do you have, because I know you live around Schenectady, right?
Yep.
So do you have any restaurants that you say, yes, this place is accessible, so that if others, are hearing and maybe they're going through the same thing, they could go to?
Downtown Schenectady, I have found, is kind of tough because they're older buildings. But usually places are pretty good at helping accommodate, because like some of the restaurants downtown have seating outside, which I can do.
Yeah.
Which makes it easier.
Okay.
Or they'll tell me that if I call ahead to make sure, because for some reason some of the restaurants, like, they'll use like their wheelchair accessible entrance for storage. So if I call ahead, they can make sure it's cleared and make sure it's unlocked and open.
Okay. And you find it like helpful like that from people?
Yeah, I typically will
restaurants?
call ahead. Yeah.
Okay. So that means, so with what you just said, because it always gives me something to think about. That means
why
that
I am always planning.
Yes.
Like, I have to plan. I can't not plan, which for me is kind of annoying because I like to be spontaneous sometimes.
Yeah.
But it doesn't always work that way.
Yeah, which we understand though. And it's a good thing to plan too. It's always good to plan. But with what you just said, that means that, in Schenectady, New York, I think that especially downtown Schenectady, I think that maybe restaurants and even streets should come out more accessible to people with disabilities on a wheelchair too. What do you think about that?
Yeah, there are some places that I have spoken to point out that, hey, there was this event that I wanted to go to, but I couldn't because it was up 13 stairs and your elevator is not working, or you don't have an elevator.
And that's the thing, you see, and that's the obstacle that I want people to really understand, that with your resilience and the way you go about every single day, just to have them understand that if you wanted to go in a concert or you wanted to go see somebody, but if it's in a building that it only has steps going up and there is no elevator or there is no railing, right? Is that what you call it, the railing? How can you go either support? How can you go and maybe see a friend or see somebody that you like to see? Just like a concert, just like a lot of us, we have that opportunity. So why shouldn't you get that opportunity? And it's unfortunate. So maybe if people share this, they can hear it and they can make good changes, don't you think?
Yes, and there's also like you mentioned, concerts. One thing that I've noticed is a lot of concert venues have their wheelchair accessible seating either in the way back or off to the side.
Okay.
And I've been told before that it's for fire safety purposes.
Oh, wow.
Okay and great, and I understand that, but one question that I've had is, how do we fix that? Because if I'm at a concert and everybody is standing, if I were standing, I'm only 5 feet tall. So sitting down, I'm like 3 feet tall.
And that's an eye opener. To me, that's an eye opener, because I'm like, if I'm coming somewhere and I have people all over the world who support me and who love me, like I want to give Selena. Selena was like the greatest singer. I love her. I still love her. I could watch her movie like 100,000 times. I feel the same way about every single little detail. And I think that if we have people all over the world who love you as an artist or as an actor or whatever it is that you're doing, and you're doing concerts all over the world, then I think that this is one of the things that people need to really think about. More inclusion when it comes to people with disabilities and people who were born with that disability but also are in a wheelchair, and if they want to go and enjoy themselves, because again, you're human beings. It's not like you're any different than me or my son or anybody, you know. And your disability doesn't define like everything about you, you know. So I think that if anybody was to watch this, people really need to change that. I would want that to be number one right now, especially with you, like, especially with COVID-19, you know what I mean? But when people go back to maybe going out and having concerts outside, what makes you feel comfortable to say, hey, I know these people have a space for me. Let me go out. Let me go and support. Let me go have fun with my friends. And guess what? Right now you can't.
I can. It's all the way in the back though.
And that's the thing. That shouldn't be the case. You know, even if it's all the way in the back and you're sitting down and everybody, that's not fun. You're seeing everybody's ass, basically.
Pretty much. You're not wrong. I am that short.
Let's keep it real, right? Because if we don't keep it real, then it's not the truth. We need.
I have another story that I find it funny, and this is just me, because these are things that they happen to me and I have to just laugh them off, because in the moment there's nothing that I can do to fix them.
Yeah.
But like, I've gone to a movie theater and had to use the bathroom in the middle of the movie theater, in the middle of the movie. So I go into the bathroom, open the stall door, and there's a bar for me to be able to transfer, but the stall door is not wide enough for me to fit my chair through, so I can't actually use it.
Oh my gosh.
And that has happened multiple times to me. Or I can get through, but it's one of the corner stalls where you have to turn.
Yeah.
And it's not wide enough for me to be able to turn my chair. Me being the stubborn person that I am, has turned my chair and gotten stuck and had to call my friend to come get me out of the bathroom.
Wow. I'm sorry that you have to go through that.
I find at this point, it's kind of those kind of things I laugh at. And like,
the
last time that happened, my friend was like, how did you manage to do that? I was like, I don't know, but I'm stuck. Help me. Get me out.
Well, it's a good thing you have friends that will come and help you. That's awesome. That means you have good people around you.
Mhm.
But just to let you, just to make a little like comparison, especially with the whole thing with racism, right? Everything
Mhm.
that's going on right now. People want to just say it's fine, like I've been going through it, like it's something that I'm not used to. People calling me the N-word, or people keeping you from getting a position that you need, that you should be at because of your skill, because of how good you are, but because of your race or where you come from, they will not give you that. And I've said it before, and even A has said it before, like, hey, we're used to it. You know what I mean? Other people can say we're used to it, but
Mhm.
it's
And
not
that's a
about,
sad thing.
it's not even about getting used to it. It's about making changes. If you hear people talking about it, if you see that there's something wrong, why is it that our leaders who are supposed to make changes for us, for the people, why are they not making changes, right? For
Mhm.
us, so that we can be more, we can enjoy life better, just like everybody is supposed to. So I feel like what you just said is almost like you've been dealing with so many obstacles that at this point you laugh about it and you think it's okay, like I'll find a way. You're always, and that's the resilient
Yeah.
part of you. That's the inspiring part of you, because you're not just like, oh man, no, I can't go anywhere. I can't do this. I'm just gonna stay home. You always find a way to say, let me figure out something else. Let me see if I can go somewhere else. Let me see if I can do, go and be at a different concert. Maybe a different concert will have a space for me. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like thinking positive, thinking ahead and saying, hopefully change will come, right?
Yep.
But change will not happen if people don't demand it. So
Right.
we're finally demanding that the systematic of racism needs to, like, this whole thing needs to change.
Mhm.
And just with you, like, I feel like people with on a wheelchair and with disabilities, they need to have options, more options, and they need to have space for you to enjoy yourself too, you know um so that's the part that I think that is the resilience part of you. But on
Thank you.
that note, I
And
just want to say, yeah,
and those the laughing at it is something that I do in the moment, because in the
yeah,
moment you can't change those things. But I have done things like I have gone to our state capitol and to our legislative offices to speak to legislators to figure out different things, or talk to them about different things, whether it's to do with insurance or whether it's to do with something as simple as, like I said, being able to go somewhere and being able to go to those meetings
mm-hmm,
and find a bathroom that I can use, because those buildings are older.
yeah,
And there's one thing that has been routinely like misunderstood with the ADA law, which is the Americans with Disabilities Act,
okay,
that people think that there is a grandfather clause for older buildings that have been built before a certain year,
mm-hmm,
which is only partially true.
mm-hmm,
What it is buildings can claim um, undue hardship, which means that if that building or that business is bringing in less money than it would take to make the accommodations, then they don't have to make the accommodations right away,
oh
or they can make
wow,
lesser accommodations. It has nothing to do with the year that the building was born or building was made.
wow, that's that's crazy. All I know is that we're here to make a difference, okay? We're here to make a difference and to speak our truth. I think that if people are going to go into business and they're going to go and do something, anything, if they have a heart of helping other people, I think that their business will be more successful. So I think that if businesses they want people to come in and eat like from them, or even concerts and stuff like that, they need to make space for you guys so that you can enjoy yourself, and also their business can grow too. You understand? It's like it works very well. So I'm sorry about that, and thank you for educating us, because educated me about a lot of these different things, because I didn't know anything about that either. So thank you for that. But I do want to say, so when the most important part, when did you start? Because I remember, so me and you, so we know each other because of work, and and we work in the same job but different fields, different what is that called? Different positions.
Yeah, different departments, different.
Yeah, different departments. So you work in childcare, I work in health and wellness, and every time you was out of work, whenever you could, you came to the gym. And when you was coming to the gym to work out, I was the person who is supposed to help everybody who's working out. So every time that I came to you, I was like, if you need anything, let me know. And I know that you always wanted me to time you with your workout. And that's how I started to know you. And then is that when, that was about 3 years ago, is that when you really started getting into fitness or into working out, or before that?
I started going to the Y about 4 or 5 years ago. I actually started with a boxing class.
Okay.
And I took that for a while.
Was that
with Hyder?
Oh, okay. I was not there then.
Yes, I took the boxing class with Hyder, and I actually had to be talked into doing that multiple times.
Really?
Yes.
What were people saying to you?
There was somebody who worked there and took the class, and she said she loved it, but I really needed to take it. And I was like, maybe. I don't know. I don't know if I have the time, because at the time
you're like, who am I gonna punch next? Why do I need to learn boxing? Because who do I need to go and get next, right?
But then I went and I ended up loving it, and I stayed. And then once the boxing class was over, I started. That's when I got my membership, okay, and started personal training. Okay. And then that was, I think, 5 years ago, and then 4 years ago is when I started training with A.
Okay. Now, how has training with A helped you with your confidence, with changing the way you look at working out?
It's helped me a lot, and in ways that I didn't think was going to happen. I've seen, like, I knew it was going to help me physically, because before I started working out, and before I could not do things like transfer into a car by myself. I could do it partially, but somebody would have to lift my legs because I was too heavy to lift myself. Okay. And now I can do it. I can transfer into my dad's SUV completely independently.
Wow. So that means, you guys, for everybody that doesn't know, that means that when she gets out of the gym, she's going to her dad's car on her wheelchair. She has to unbuckle herself. And then, you know, on the car, they have that handle where you hold on to, right? That handle. She's able to now lift herself up and put herself in the car seat. And before, you say you was not able to do that, because I saw you doing that. And I remember when A told me, like, look, she's able to do it. And
yep, and I was not able to do that when I first started.
Yeah. And to me, I was like, wow. To him, he shared with me, like, if it's almost like a kid's baby first step, you know, like when they first step. And that's always with every client of his. I know that or with anybody that he works out with, I know that he's always talking about that those steps that they're making moves on. And that one step for you being able to get yourself into your dad's car, that was like amazing.
Mhm.
So go
Yeah,
ahead,
that
continue.
was
Sorry.
great. No, there's that. That was a big one for me.
Okay.
I have gotten off of a couple of different medications that I was on before, or I've been able to lower the dose.
Wow.
Um,
So
I've
you guys, she was able to lower her medication or get off from some of her medication because she is working out consistently. That's what it means. And and that's she's the proof. It's not, you don't even have to listen it from me or from A. This is somebody else who is doing it herself, and she is the proof of when you start taking care of yourself, in the long term, you're gonna start seeing results. So that's awesome. Go ahead.
and it's kind of funny looking back now because there were a lot of exercises. Like when I took one of his classes, there was an exercise that he came up with, and I was like, "You want me to do what?" And I was like, "I don't think that's gonna." I was like, "I don't think that's gonna happen, but okay, I'll give it a try." And at first, it was the one where we tied the heavy bag to the back of my chair.
Okay.
And because you guys were carrying it across the
Yes,
gym.
the boxing. So there was
Yeah, the
like
boxing heavy bag.
heavy bag, and A was able to like grab like a chain and wrap the part that you hold on the boxing bag, heavy bag with, and that bag was like what 40, 88 pounds. He says that was 88 pounds. So he attached that 88 pounds behind her wheelchair so that she can move forward and work her arms. So I saw you doing that. So that's why I know, like, I gotta explain it to everybody.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what I did. And like for the first class that I had to do that, I remember needing a whole bunch of help and not being able to do it.
Yeah.
At least not to the level that I wanted to do it, because like a lot of people, I get into the mindset sometimes where, okay, I just saw this person do it. Why can't I do it the same exact way? Remembering that, hey, I haven't done it before, so that's why.
Yeah.
So I had to get that out of my head. But with time and doing it over and over again, I was able to do it.
And consistently, because you came, and the thing is that we always did classes, and I started doing those classes too, and that's why we can talk about it. But I think that you come in every single time, it helped your body to start getting used to it. And just even though you wasn't able to do it the first time, you got frustrated, you started maybe comparing yourself, which a lot of us do. I'm guilty of that for 100%. And I'm like, oh, why can't I get it? Oh my gosh, look at how they did it. They did it well. Why can't I do it? But I think that consistency and the fact that you just kept coming and trying. And the other thing is, like, you don't care what anybody else says about you. That's awesome. I like that about you, because some people could be like, what is she doing? Why she's in a wheelchair? Why is she doing that? And to me, and then to you, you're just like, I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing for myself, So
and actually, another thing that I'm sitting on the couch right now. When I was at my parents' house and before I started working out, I needed help to transfer to and from a couch. So the fact that I'm in my apartment by myself and I'm able to transfer to and from my couch independently is
that
big
shows
for
the
me.
strength of your arms, your workouts. Hold on,
These things are squishy.
Let's do the arm challenge, okay? Let's go. Let me see. I think I got some muscles right here. Oh man, yeah, Heather, you got a lot of muscles. No, don't do it like that, because then I look too bright. But you see, you got a lot of muscles, Heather. Look at that. Do this one. Do like this. Dang, look at us. Oh my gosh, Heather, your arms are, dang, they're nice. They're looking like A's now. So that's too
Thank
much.
you guys have both helped me a lot, because one of the things that I did do, like when we were taking the classes, I'd be like, okay, well, she's doing it that intense, she's not stopping, so well then I'm not gonna stop. I get a little competitive.
Just a little bit. It's okay. I'm competitive too. So guess what? We are all in the same mindset. We're thinking the same way to do the best that we can. And if you do a little bit better, then guess what? I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna try to do better so that you can do better, right? You push yourself. So we're pushing ourselves, which is nice. So
Or when we do the laps, and because cardio is not one of my strengths.
a lot of people do not, yeah.
Right. But I know this about me, so it's something that I'm working on. And I know that you've helped me with that too, being like, all right, let's go. We're not stopping. When I really just wanted to sit there and not do anything.
Yeah.
But both of you have helped me a lot with that.
We're like, come on, Heather, let's go. You can do it a little bit faster. Let's go. Stop slowing down.
Why are you slowing down?
Don't try to talk. Don't try to say how nice my shirt looks today, because I don't want to hear about that right now. I just want to see you working out and getting your workout in. And you're like, oh my gosh, I can't get away with these two. But your muscles, you look really, really good. Now, have you lost weight too with your training and that
with
stuff?
my tria? I think, trying to remember what I started at. I think I started around 140 something, and right now I'm 125.
Wow, it's pretty good. You mean, when did you start? Just to like let people know, like.
That has been up and down within. It's gone up and down within the last 5 years, but I've been consistently around the 125 for the last like three years.
Wow, that's awesome. And I can see it too. You can see it within, like, just when you get out of the car and you're just going outside or getting yourself in your dad's car, or you're doing something, you can see it. Like, you can see it with your muscles. Like, you can see it in your body, the way your shirts fit too, you know, it's inches.
Thank you. And I feel better. I feel a whole lot better. Mentally, physically. And with going back to the hydrocephalus aspect of the spina bifida, a year ago I had that tube that we talked about earlier, it broke. And that happens, that's the fifth time, or that's the fourth time it's happened to me. But the other times that I had that it broke, I was in the hospital for 1 to 2 weeks. I was in the hospital this time. I was admitted one day, I had the surgery the next day, and I was able to go home. They told me that if you can sit up for more than an hour and you can eat, you can go home. So I was able to go home the next day.
Wow.
Which I know, and I have another friend who had the same surgery a couple months before me, who also has spina bifida, and she was in the hospital for about 2 weeks.
Wow. Wow. You see, and that's just the power of you taking the initiative of starting something and consistently going and working at it, because I know you don't always feel like working out. I know you don't always feel like you eat vegetables and your fruit, you know what I mean? But the fact that it's helping you to feel better about yourself and to become more independent with yourself and your life and what it is that you want to do, that's inspiring, you know? That's cool, because I don't want to hear from nobody that they can't do something, because if they have 2 arms, they have legs and everything, it's just all here. So mental.
I've always had, because like I said, I get into those minds where I can't do this, or how did they do it so well? But my thing is, I've gotten into, what was it? It was, okay, I can't do this right now, but I'm not going to stop until I can.
Yeah. Yeah. So and that's the part that is really like good about yourself, and keep going like that. Okay, don't let nothing else to like stop you from keeping going and keep working out and keep doing what it is that you need to do to keep seeing changes, because this is just a few changes. I want to see where you at in 5 years from now, you know what I mean? Because I know that you recently moved, and I know that you was very scared about that, and a lot of people, you know, we get scared when we try something new, but you stepped out of your comfort zone and you are actually living on your own now, and you're doing it. That's amazing. So that's good. And tell people how awesome it is to live on your own.
I like it a lot. It's a little bit different during COVID, but I like it a lot.
That's good. Yes, I think it's different for everybody, don't you think? Yeah. But I don't mind it. I love, if I would have found out earlier, younger age, that it was so cool to live on. And I told you this. This is why I encourage you. I hope I encourage you to like to go and live on your own. I say, if I knew how awesome it was to live and have your own space, oh my gosh, I would have done it when I was 15 years old.
Finding a wheelchair accessible apartment was surprisingly very difficult. Because there's a lot of things that I had to consider, not just, do I like the floor? Is it big enough? I had to consider, are the doorways big enough? Can I get my chair in the bathroom and turn it around and be able to transfer? Because the way some bathrooms are configured, I wouldn't be able to, excuse me, get into the shower. I wouldn't be able, my chair wouldn't fit because of like if a cabinet's right there or something.
Yeah. But guess what? You did it.
Yeah.
You have an apartment. God opened that opportunity for you. And I'm just happy where you are going. And I think that I learned something new too with spina bifida. And it's a good thing to keep learning and educating ourselves with everything. And yeah, I think that one of the things we're taking away from here is that change is hard, but you take a step and you can do it. Also, if change is not happening, it can keep a certain group of people away from actually enjoying what everybody else is enjoying. You know what I mean? And in your cases, concerts, making sure that they have a space for people on a wheelchair and with disabilities so that they're able to enjoy themselves and actually, you know, support them and not be all the way in the back and you can't see nothing. You know what I mean? So there's no point of going to a concert. For businesses to be able to have more
bathrooms that are accessible, something simple like that.
Bathroom accessibility for you, and even a space for people with disability and on a wheelchair. I think that will also bring more business into their business. And I think it's more about caring about people in general. And also you say something very important too, that taking your vitamins is very important before anything. Just start now. Like you can't be too young to start it. My son actually takes his multivitamin too. I make sure that he has his vitamins. Why? Because in our foods, you may not eat so many vegetables, so many fruits that they do give you those vitamins. So you're missing that. And again, we're just here telling our truth. And thank you for coming. I really, really appreciate it. And thank you for being my guest. Again, just keep going, stay strong. And I know that you have a lot of friends too who are, you know, who are in a wheelchair, and I'm sure they can see you just doing crazy things. And they're like, how does Heather do that? And hopefully, you know, one of them, just by you doing that and setting an example, they will start their own journey into more health and fitness and living a lifestyle of independence, just like you.
Thank you.
You know, so thank you so much, and that will do it for today. Do you have anything else to share with us before we leave?
There was one thing you had asked me yesterday, about like what I wanted people to know about people with disabilities.
Yeah.
And it's not really just for people with disabilities. But it's something that I learned at a camp that I used to go to.
Okay.
For kids with disabilities and chronic and life-threatening illnesses. It's called Double H Ranch. It's that nobody's normal is the same, whether you have a disability or not. And that doesn't make it a bad thing. You
Yes.
just make it work for your life and make sure that you're happy and doing what you need to do.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. And thank you because you said nobody's normal is the same, which is it's actually the truth. And also, like I also say in a lot of the videos that I do, is that everybody's journey is differently.
Right. And you don't know what people are going through.
And you don't know what people are going through. So even if I was to say, why don't you do this? Well, I don't know what it is that you're going through, you know, because you could be fighting something inside of you, or you could be working on something within yourself that I don't know. So giving people the time to actually do it themselves and show that they can do it, that's good. So everybody's truth is different too. You know what I mean? And everybody's perspective is different too. But that I like that one. You said nobody's normal is the same. So,
and that's okay.
And it's okay. And it's okay to be, like I say, it's okay to be different. It's okay to be Latina. It's okay to be Heather. You know what I mean? And everybody's journey is different. So that's awesome. Anything else?
Nope. That's it.
Well,
thank you for having me.
Can you smile? Like say yes, like go like this, show all those muscles before you leave.
Did that.
Come on, Heather, go like this.
I don't know if you knew this, but July is actually Disability Awareness Month.
July, okay.
So,
now I know.
Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So we'll keep in contact, and if you ever need anything, let us know. If anybody else wants to, you know, learn more about Heather too, I'm sure they can follow you, right? Somewhere.
Sure. I'm on
Facebook.
Yeah.
Is your Facebook just Heather?
Yeah.
Just Heather what? Heather.
Horwoodell.
Well, I can't hear that, but I guess I'm gonna have to type it later. So maybe you know somebody in there who likes you too. So we'll go from there. Okay, don't get so serious, Heather. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll see you, and thank you for being here. Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Okay. Bye.